What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about what if Naruto was a hatake. So yeah, let's get back into the video. So Naruto, so just for the sake of it, I'm going to give Naruto a type of very rare cookie genkai. So yeah, so you know how Kakashi's story, but to change it up a little bit, Kakashi he got drunk and him and someone else, you could say, hooked up, hook up, something like that. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, and then after that, she found out like she was pregnant, but she didn't know where Kakashi lived. So, so that was a bummer for her. That's when she also found out like she was also dying. And this girl was a half Uchiha, so yeah, she didn't live. She didn't live in She didn't live in this half Uchiha woman. She didn't live in the leaf. She didn't even know she wasn't a Uchiha. She just was. All she knew was that she was a part of a small certain village, and that was it. So yeah. So Naruto, after a while, is born. That's when you know. When Naruto is born, his mom dies of the sickness. That's when this is when Naruto is kind of put in what you could say, how can I say this, he's put in an orphanage, and in the orphanage it's not that well for Naruto. He's kind of smart for his age. Like, he's a prodigy type of smart. Not just that, like, people make fun of him because of his white hair and blue eyes. Like they say it doesn't really match your personality and stuff, basically. So Naruto gets bullied for basically being himself. This is when Naruto is out one day. This is when he bumps into Minato Namikaze as Naruto apologizes for for bumping into, well, Minato. As Minato thinks to himself, that kid looks very familiar. And Minato is, trying to put his head around it, as he's thinking, where did he see someone like that from? As he remembers Kakashi. This is when, this is when, before Naruto, this is when Minato goes up to Naruto as he says, "Hey kid, what's your name?" And I'll say, for the heck of it, this girl knew Hatake Kakashi's last name, so yeah. Because Kakashi is pretty well known, so yeah. Naruto says, "I'm Naruto Hatake, and who are you?" As Minato was kind of surprised to hear this, as as Minato sighed and said, "Naruto, how are you doing and where are you going?" As Naruto says to Minato, he's not doing that great and he lives in an orphanage with the rest of the kids who don't have parents. As Minato basically goes to the orphanage, he tells the orphanage people like he's going to adopt Naruto. As orphanage people, they didn't really like Naruto because they just didn't, for some reason. As as Minute as Naruto then asks Minato, why did he want to adopt him? And he also asks him, why, why him out of all the kids? As Minato says, well, I know someone who's just like you. As, as Naruto is wondering, who could this person be if they look just like, well, me? as Naruto starts to think about it while he's on the way to Konoha with Minato. This is when we do a 5-hour time skip as sorry about that, as Minato gets to Konoha. And this is when, Minato goes straight to his office. Because, the reason why I said it took him 5 hours is because even though Minato is fast, he has a kid on his back. And, kids being kids, they don't know anything about jutsus or none of that. So he had to go slow. He had to go kind of slow with Naruto. And, basically he had to make sure Naruto was okay, in a way, you could say. This is when, Minato goes to his office as he goes towards the Anbu to go get Kakashi. As Kakashi is as you see Kakashi in the graveyard moaning over Rin and Obito. As as you know, this is when an Anbu comes out of nowhere as the Anbu says to Kakashi that the Hokage wants to speak to you. As as Kakashi says to Anbu, okay, I'll be there. This is when Kakashi ends up going to Kakashi ends up going to Minato as 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 he sees a kid with kind of grayish white hair, as he says, "Yes, what is it, Sensei?" As he basically says to Kakashi, like, "I think this kid belongs to you." As Kakashi says, "What is that? What's that supposed to mean, Sensei?" As he says, "This kid, just like you, has the last name Hatake. And if you remember, you were drunk and, well, yeah." As Kakashi facepalm his face because, he remembers what he did with a certain someone. As Naruto is looking at Minato and Kakashi as he doesn't really get what's going on. Because, he's still a kid. As Naruto goes to Kakashi and says, "Hi, who are you?" As as Kakashi looks down at Naruto as he says, "I'm Hatake Kakashi. Let's go, kid." As Naruto wondering where the heck are they going? Because this is when, Naruto is now at, Kakashi's house as he asks Naruto if, he knows anything about ninjutsu or anything like that. As Naruto says no, this is when, Kakashi says, "Well, from now on, I'm going to start training you." As Naruto is the age of 7 right now. This is when we have a time skip as Naruto is now the age of 13 as he is a pretty high Chunin because, Naruto and Kakashi, they're pretty smart for their age, so yeah, and prodigies. So, of course, Naruto is going to be, a bit smarter than Kakashi in a way. So, Naruto being basically a very high Chunin, this is when Naruto sees his dad as he sees his dad do the Chidori. As Naruto tries to do the Chidori, this is when purple lightning comes out of Naruto's hand as he says Chidori. This is when he hits the tree with his Chidori as... Oh yeah, just to let you know, I will be taking a certain name from a certain YouTuber. I don't remember his name, and yeah. I just don't remember his name, but I'm just going to be... But I'm just not going to, like, make Minato, well, a jerk, you could say. I'm just not going to do that. So yeah. And it will be obvious that me and his videos are very different, so yeah. So Naruto, who was just did his, Chidori. Naruto, he already knows, like, he is half Uchiha. Because when he was 6, well, not 6, 8, he unlocked his 2 Tomoe Sharingan while he was training with Kakashi. So yeah. So Naruto is currently with his... Naruto is currently, with his, how can I say this? His dad as Naruto shows Kakashi, what he did and basically explains to him as Kakashi was proud of his son. So yeah, this is when, Naruto, this is when Naruto goes to, how can I, this is when, Naruto, he also, like, oh yeah, and if you want to know, the rare Genkai that I gave Naruto is basically mist. Yeah, like fog type of mist. And like Naruto, he is in the Anbu, so yeah. People call Naruto, like, when Naruto isn't on missions, they call him, like when Naruto is on missions, they call him the ghost of Konoha, basically. Like that's what they call him, the ghost of Konoha. As when people, the reason why people call him the ghost of Konoha is because, Naruto is normally wearing all white and you normally see him in the dark. So yeah. And you don't see anything other than, his blue eyes. As the people who did live in Konoha, they were scared, but, Minato had to say, this person doesn't exist, calming the people down as Naruto wondering, why is people, like, when they hear, Naruto wonders, when they hear Ghost of Konoha, they think an actual ghost, but, it's just Naruto wandering around at night, being himself. As Naruto then goes to, as we'll skip all the way to the Nine Tails attack. The Nine Tails attack happens, as it does in canon, but Naruto, he sees, the Nine Tails is under a genjutsu, as Naruto tells Minato this, as Minato goes and gets Fugaku. He goes and gets Kakashi, and no, he goes and gets Fugaku, as he tells Fugaku what's happening. This is when Minato asks if, if Fugaku has the Mangekyo Sharingan, as he says to Kakashi, to Minato, yes. This is when, Minato makes a plan to put the fox under a genjutsu. This, when he does, the fox gets put under a genjutsu stronger than Obito's, because Obito had left, so there was no reason for for him to really take control of the Kyuubi any longer. This is when Minato, is doing the Reaper Death Seal, as he pits some of the Kyuubi's chakra in his daughter Mito, and some in Kushina, as it's 50-50 basically. This is when it's a week after the Kyuubi attack, as Minato praises Naruto for his for basically figuring out what was happening with the Kyuubi, and also kind of saving everyone. Oh yeah, and I mean like a different seal. I didn't mean the Reaper Death seal. I meant a different seal. Okay, y'all, a different one. So yeah, so this is when Naruto. So we have another time skip as you see a 7-year-old Mito and a 7-year-old Sasuke as Naruto is watching them from afar. As this is when Naruto, Naruto sees basically like people know who the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. So he sees a drunk man goes up to Mito as he calls her a demon and tries to hit her. This is when Naruto quickly goes there in a flash, basically in a white flash, as he knocks the man out. Basically, that's it. He knocks him out, making sure he can't move or anything. The people getting like the other drunk men getting scared because their friend just got knocked out of nowhere. This is when they run away because why wouldn't you run away? Something just attacked your friend and you didn't see it. So yeah, this is when we do another time skip as we go all the way to basically to I'm gonna go all the way to the Chunin exams because everything kind of happens as it does in canon. As everything kind of happens as it does in canon, and as Kashi is still and Mito and Sasuke's and Sakura's sensei. But the Uchiha massacre doesn't happen, seeing how Minato is still alive. So yeah. So Sasuke, he's just emo. That's it. So we go all the way to the Chunin exams as Naruto sees basically a few sand shinobis as Naruto is wondering why there's sand shinobis here. This is when Naruto goes Naruto was wondering why was there sand shinobi here as he remembers his dad telling him about the tuning exams. So yeah. So I guess yeah. How can I say this? Naruto, I'ma say he's 14. Yeah, I know, no, he's 16, yeah, 16. And wow, what was her name again? Dang it. What was her name again? Oh my god. Tamari, yeah, Tamari. I'm gonna say, she's also 16 as she is Gara and, her younger siblings and some random girls, sensei, as she is the sensei of them. This is when Naruto, who is keeping a close eye on, on all of the people who are from different villages, wondering, what are they going, wondering what are they going to do. This is when, this is when, you know, this is when, Konohamaru still bumps into, I forgot his name, into Gaara's brother as his name is Kankuro, so yeah. Gaara's brother name is Kankuro, as he bumps into Kankuro. This is when, Kankuro says his stuff and Gaara says his stuff, I guess, as No, Kankuro says, his stuff. This is when Naruto goes up to Kankuro as well, he doesn't really go up to Naruto, goes up to Kankuro. He just quickly takes Konohamaru from Kankuro and places Konohamaru next to, the ramen shop, as they were kind of next to there. So yeah, as Kankuro is wondering, what the frick just happened. This is when Konohamaru says, something about the ghost of Konoha, because that's what some people call Naruto, the ghost of Konoha. As basically some people are saying you can only see him at night, and if you do see him at night, you should run away before he sees you. So basically, yeah, as Gara wondering if this person is going to be in the Chunin exams, because he wants blood, man's out for blood. This is when Tamari asks Konohamaru if this person called the ghost of Konoha is real. As Konohamaru, believing that he is, says he is real. He saved me, obviously. As sorry if I can hear that. That's my stupid cousins. So yeah. So Konohamaru, basically telling Tamari that he is real, and Tamari kind of being worried, wondering if he's a Jinchuriki or not. This is when we go we go all the way to where the proctor is, as the proctor did not show up yet, and I can't remember his name because I don't feel like it. As they're all basically everyone is talking, as this is when Kiba is talking to Orochimaru's person. I forgot his name as well, and I can't remember it, so I'm not going to. I just remembered it. His name is Kabuto. As 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 Kiba mentions, he mentions, no, it's Neji who mentions it. He mentions, the ghost of Konoha. As he pulls up, he pulls up a card that doesn't say a name, or it doesn't show anyone. It just shows, it shows Naruto has been on multiple A rank and S rank missions, and basically no one knows how strong he is. Basically, they call him the ghost of Konoha for a reason. As this is when Neji asks if he's going to be in the Chunin exams. As Kabuto says to Neji that no, because if there's one thing people know about the ghost of Konoha, he already took the Chunin exams. He's kind of old, they say. As this is when Ino says, is he real? And as Ino was saying, this in its shy voice, because she's saying, is he real? Because if he is real, that means he would have to be dead, right? As Kabuto says, well, if you're a ghost, yes, you will have to be dead, but I don't know if he is real or not. I never faced the ghost of Konoha. As basically, the Cloud Shinobi noticed, people talking about the ghost of Konoha, as one of her teammates, as Yujito goes up to, what was his name? Kankuro, no, Kibi, I'm not going to remember his name, even though I just said it, I'm not going to remember his name. So she goes up to Kabuto, as she asks, she goes up to where you could say, how can I put this? She goes up to Kiba, no, Neji, as she says, who is this ghost of Konoha? As Neji basically explains who he is and, and how no one knows if he is real or not, as you can only see him in the night. And the people who have seen him in the night, they have been traumatized for a while now, or they're basically dead, like they go missing. But they're just in shock at looking at, because when people go out at night and see Naruto, they don't they see a ghost. As when Naruto turns around, he looks kind of scary because he's wearing a mask. As Naruto basically disappears into what you could say white fog, as that's why people call him the ghost of Konoha. That's the Genkai, or half of the Genkai's abilities I'm going to be giving Naruto. As this is when the proctor shows up, as he basically says to everyone to calm down, and he says for everyone to get in to the room so they can take the the test. As one of the as as someone as Sasuke goes up to the proctor and asks the proctor where he can find the ghost of Konoha, because he wants to fight him. So yeah. So yeah. Wait. Because yeah, he wants to fight. He wants to fight the ghost of Konoha so he can get stronger. As the proctor says to Sasuke, he's not real, and he basically says to Sasuke, he's not real. He doesn't exist. And if anything, you should try the ritual and see if you can find him, Uchiha Sasuke. As Sasuke asks, how does the ritual go? This is when the proctor basically is looking around, as he whispers to Sasuke, he's not supposed to tell him this, but the only way to see the ghost of Konoha is to stay up late at night and go outside, and you'll see the ghost of Konoha. As as Sasuke now knowing how to face the ghost of Konoha when he sees him. Well, when he thinks he sees him. This is when the test goes, like everything goes as canon in a way, like the whole type of the force of death thing and stuff. So yeah, this is when we go to Sasuke Uchiha, he he is up at night. This is when Makoto goes into Sasuke's room, as she asks Sasuke, why isn't he asleep? As as Sasuke says, he's going to fight the ghost of Konoha. He basically says, he wants to get stronger, and if anything, the ghost of Konoha might just be the strongest. As as the people who heard about the ghost of Konoha and how to see him, this is when it is now 2 a.m. Well, it's 2:58 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, as Sasuke is outside wandering around, as he sees Sakura and Mito and Ino. As Ino and Sakura, they kind of look scared, as Mito, she looks excited, to see the ghost of Konoha. This is when Sasuke sees half of everyone else from the Chunin exams. As this is when Sasuke asks them, what are they doing here? As they say they're here for the ghost of Konoha. This is when they see a sort of mist appear, as they see a person wearing a mask, as this mask has a smiling face. This is when everyone is basically in shock, as Naruto puts a hand over his mask, as he's basically doing this. Shh. Basically, he's telling them to shut up and to be quiet. This is when Naruto disappears as he is now in front of as he is now behind Sasuke as he's throwing a punch straight to Sasuke's back. As you know, as Mito warned Sasuke, as when Sasuke was about to hit Naruto, he he hits smoke. Basically, he hits the fog as his hand went right through Naruto as he hit Sasuke square in the face. This is when Naruto goes up to Gaara as Gaara is looking Naruto right in the eyes, and Naruto is looking Gaara right in the eyes as well, as he sends a kick straight to Gaara. Gaara thinking, his sand is going to block it. It doesn't, and Gaara gets sent flying into the ground, you could say. This is when, Naruto is kind of, beating up some of the people of Konoha as he's using the fog to his advantage, and Naruto also using basically everything else to his advantage. Sneaking up on the Chunin exams people as this is when Kakashi appears as he as as he opens he makes his eye, he shows off his Sharingan, you could say, as Kakashi says, "Ghost of Konoha, stop this." As Naruto looks behind him as he sees, Kakashi, his dad, as they're glaring at each other. As this is when Minato appears in a yellow flash as he says, "Will all of you just go to bed?" And Naruto, and this is when Minato bows to Naruto, but not like fully bowing down to him, but if if you know fighting in a way, you just bow down. You just bow. You don't really, bow completely down. That's it. But Naruto is. Hold on, guys. Okay, guys, I am back. So, Naruto, who is now with Naruto, who is with his friends, as he basically said to, as Minato bows down to Naruto, as he said, "Ghost of Konoha, can you please forgive these people for messing with you," and he promised they won't do it again. As Naruto disappears in a puff of smoke, as he tells everyone to go back to where they were and to go to sleep. They have the tuning exams tomorrow. As they all go back to sleep, this is when this is when this is when it's the next day as Kakashi is looking at all the people who were there at the night of when Naruto kind of quote unquote attacked them. As Kakashi says, "You kids are lucky. Most of the people who face the ghost of Konoha usually don't make it out alive. I guess you're the first, huh?" As Sasuke asks, "How is he so fast?" And how do you and Minato knows him? As as Nar as Kakashi sighs, knowing he's going to have to make a lie, as he says, "Well, before the kid was a ghost, he was once my student, and he wasn't just my student, he was also my kid, my actual blood relative kid. And he was pretty smart and good and fighting and ninjutsu and all that. As he says, that's when the Kyuubi attack happened, as some of you may know. As when the Kyuubi attack happened, that's when my son died. As as you know, as Ino goes up to Kakashi, as she says, "I'm sorry for your loss," and that you have to see that. This is when Sasuke asks if he died on the Kyuubi attack. Why is he attacking Konoha Shinobi? As he says, Kakashi says, he's mad that he died and that he didn't get to live his life yet. That's why he attacks Konoha. So basically, yeah. As Sasuke tests, and he says, so he's attacking people because he didn't get to live a life. Well, if he wants to live a life, then live one where you're not a ghost. As Naruto basically appears right next to Sasuke, which no one else could see him other than Kakashi, as he kicks Sasuke, sending him to a wall flying. As Sasuke asks, what was that? As he says, sorry, that must have been my son Naruto. Must have got angered that you said that, even though you can live a life when he can't. So this is when Sasuke tests again, as he says, control your kid, he got problems. Basically, that's what he says, as Kakashi gives Sasuke a little eye smile, and that's it. As Kakashi disappears and he is now on the roof of the Chunin exams, as he is watching from there. As Kakashi says to Naruto, that's quite a stunt you pulled last night, Naruto. As Naruto looks at his dad Kakashi, as he says, and that's quite a lie you made about me, Dad. As Naruto says, and that's quite a lie you made about me. As as Kakashi giving Naruto an eye smile, saying, well, I had to give those kids something about you. As this is when we skip all the way to where it's as the tuning exams, go as planned. As Naruto in the fight, he was attacking Gaara basically from every angle. Gaara not being able to touch Naruto nor get a hit on him. He was able to, seal the. Minato was able to make sure, the seal on One Tail's Shukaku was put back together again, you could say. This is when Naruto, who was also fighting, some sand shinobi and sound shinobi, as, as Naruto's basically set there. This is when, we, after, the whole Chunin exams thing and, kind of, that little tiny war on the attack of Konoha, as Naruto is currently Naruto is currently out and about, as it is nighttime and it is 3 in the morning. This is when he sees, this is when he sees the 5 Kazekage, as minus Minato, you could say. He sees them as as the Raikage goes up basically says to Naruto, as he says, so you're the ghost of Konoha, huh? But I want to see what you got, kid. Bring it. As Naruto disappears, as before the Raikage knew it, he had a kunai. He had a kunai to his neck. As Naruto was not speaking, this is when, one of the other, how should I say this? One of the other Kazekages tried to attack Naruto, as Naruto was able to, beat him kind of easily, as Naruto goes up to his, this is when Minato appears out of nowhere, him being him, as he says, sorry guys, but if you don't mind, this kid has, to be let go. As the Raikage asks Minato, what does he mean by, let go? As he basically talks to Naruto, saying, let go of the hate of, you not getting to have to live a life that you wanted. Basically making up a lie so that, Naruto could stop being attacked at night. As Naruto makes a whole scene, basically acting as he says, so, as Naruto says, thank you, fourth Hokage, Minato, as, basically saying, he's been set free and all that stuff, basically making up a lie, as Naruto disappears. What the other Kages think, he disappears for life, kinda, but, Naruto is, still kind of out there, just, just not paying anyone any mind. As Naruto, who is now with his dad, as he now is going to sleep. This is when it is now the next day, as Naruto is walking around the village without his mask and without wearing all white or doing anything, as he's just, acting like a normal civilian. As Naruto sees, Tamari, as Naruto asks Tamari if she is okay. As Tamari says to Naruto, she's fine and all that, like, she's just worried about Gaara. As Naruto says to her, like, you shouldn't worry about him, and he's sure that Gaara's going to be alright. So yeah. So Tamari, felt kind of calm with Naruto. And this is where I'm going to kind of end off the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.